you're in the bad group, you're going to be guilty by association, right? If you're in a good group of people, you're going to be, guilty of success by association.
Right. He's actually started his own sales agency. So that's what he's talking about now. And he's been able to scale that relatively in the last few months, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. $500,000 for $500,000.
$500,000, guys. That's no joke, man. That's no joke. All right, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Closers Network podcast, the only podcast and community that you want to be a part of, guys. If you're looking to add an extra 10 to 30K to your sales commissions every single month as a remote high-ticket closer. I'm your host, Mike Sadikin, and not just your host, guys. I'm also a coach, so you can actually get coached by me and other coaches that are part of the Closers Network. If you want to join our community for completely free, make sure you click the second link in the description below, guys, and that'll allow you to get access to our school community. That's SKOOL, and that's the Closers Network on School, guys. We'll give you guys a free training, a free course. You get 5 days a week live free coaching from the same people that have scaled our sales agency, One Call Closers, to almost $200 million in sales in just the last 5 years, guys, are the same people that are providing you guys free coaching through the Closers Network on the school platform. So that being said, guys, today's guest embodies resilience, determination, and the power of transformation. He's actually been a member of our school community since the beginning of the year. He's been very active. He's been very engaged. And we thought we'd do something a little bit different. So this individual is not necessarily from our sales agency, One Call Closers, but he's been on the school platform. He's been very engaged. And actually, a couple people have approached me to ask me to interview him. And so now we're here today. Today's guest has really navigated a lot of highs and lows in entrepreneurship and remote sales. He started his journey selling for Ashley Furniture. Right after that, he actually went on to build a multiple six-figure landscaping company with his wife and faced a lot of challenges thereafter. But what really makes his story remarkable, guys, is his relentless drive and his mission to also build a portfolio of sober living homes for recovering addicts, which we'll get into. He's someone who's learned to surround himself with people that are smarter than him and believes while motivation is great, that drive is everything. Fun fact, he's also married to his high school sweetheart, which seems to be a lot more rare these days. So that's a beautiful story in today's world, which I'd love to also tap into. He's also faced really defining moments in his life that has shaped him to become who he is today, which actually his wife had to give him an ultimatum to get his act together and even having to file bankruptcy at the age of 23. And all of these experiences, guys, have forced him to confront his beliefs, make bold moves, and maintain a level head. Get ready to be inspired, guys, and learn from someone who's been able to turn things around. Please help me welcome Zack Jenkins. Zack, welcome to the podcast, man.
Appreciate the intro, man.
Thanks for making it out, dude. So where you came in from Arizona?
Yes, from Phoenix.
I'm excited to dive into your story a little bit, so we'll help get some value to our listener today. Why don't you help me understand what the journey was like? It sounds like, hey, your maybe first sales gig was like Ashley Furniture. What was that transition like from going to that into actually maybe starting your own landscaping company? And what were some key challenges or some triumphs that you guys kind of figured out along the way?
Great question. First, though, I want to go back to the school community. Highly, highly, highly recommend everybody get in the school community 100%. There's a lot of value in there. Awesome. A lot of value. But yeah, in terms of the journey, right, so I moved to, before Ashley Furniture, my wife and I, we moved to Ohio. And really, I was at a point in my life where I wasn't making much money. I'm trying to figure out how can I make more money? How can I be more in control of my money? Really, how could I earn more? Which brought me to Ashley Furniture.
What were you doing prior to Ashley?
So prior to Ashley, I was driving semi-truck.
Okay.
So I worked at Walmart. My wife and I both worked. God, man, that's a hard time. My wife and I both worked at Walmart. I went to trucking school, and when I was going to trucking school, I then transitioned into driving truck, and then when we moved, I started working at Ashley Furniture. And really, that time in my life, actually before Ashley, when we were both working at Walmart, was probably some of the most defining moments of my life, because it was a point where there was just a lot going on. Right around that time is when we were filing bankruptcy as well. And so anyhow, we moved. I went to Ashley. I sold for Ashley for a little while and I did okay. But I definitely wasn't I wasn't who I am today in sales. There's no, there's no way.
Would it be fair to say like Ashley gave you some sort of foundation in sales?
100%.
Okay.
Because I like to be very relational, and Ashley has a lot to do with relational. But it taught me, more importantly, during that time, like, you truly can be in control of the direction in your life, right? And so Ashley Furniture, I'm forever grateful for even introducing me to sales, like, of all places. But then after that is when I went back to, after Ashley Furniture, we ended up moving again, and I went back to driving truck. And really at that point was more so because of stability than anything. I made I made okay money, very good money at the time, and driving truck. And I was back in the truck for a number of years and led into management, for a trucking company. And, that's when just several years ago, it was back in 2018, was right around the time that my wife and I looked at each other and really, we had Ashley Furniture. Then I started driving truck again. And then I'll never forget this moment, man. Like, so this was right around the time of bankruptcy. We were sitting in the living room, and we had the neighbor kids over. And I only feel like I should share this because I know there's somebody else that in sales that's probably either been through this or going through this. We were sitting in the living room. We were going to take our kids and the neighbors' kids to the park, and like, a truck came pulling in. It was a tow truck. They were there to repo our car. And so, like, at that moment, the tow truck driver, we were sitting in the living room. We looked out and we're like, what is going on? And at that point, we really didn't know that. Truly, we did not know that the car was up for repossession. We thought we were caught up. However, we were behind more payments than we thought. So immediate panic mode set in, right? That's when I was thinking. I called my mom, who's always been there. My mom helped us out, because we were like one more month behind than we needed to be. But anyhow, the tow truck driver, like, literally, of course, my wife is devastated. Me as a man, I'm like, dude, this is ridiculous. The tow truck driver left, and he said, I'm giving you 48 hours to get this caught up.
That's super unusual.
Very unusual. And he said, I'm giving you 48 hours. In the next 48 hours, if it's not caught up, I will be back. And so we made it happen in 48 hours. But at that moment in my life, I'm like, man, there's got to be something more, right? And that's when I really started kind of discovering what else is out there, which led me into, better position driving truck. Again, I stayed in the truck for many years. But yeah, and then it led up to 2018, 2019. So my wife and I were living in Georgia. I was managing a trucking terminal, sorry. And then one day, like, there was, we ended up leaving, came back out of nowhere. Like, there was disagreement within the terminal. Headquarters came down. I lost my job. So I took like 4 weeks off because we were in a much better place financially at that point. Took like 4 weeks off. My wife and I were sitting in the front yard, and we had always agreed never to move back to Florida because that's where we're from. But we were sitting in the yard. We looked at each other like, I feel like we need to go back to Florida, and let's go start a company in Florida. About 3 days later, I was on the road. It was Thanksgiving. It was November. I was on the road. I was headed back to Florida. Literally, we didn't bring anything if it didn't fit on our little tiny, in the back of our truck on this little tiny trailer. And I stayed with my wife's grandparents for a number of months just to because we had no plans. We literally just said, hey, we're going to go back here. We're going to do this.
Wow.
And we went down there, and it was a slow start, a lot of failures in the beginning. But dude, I'm forever grateful for that. Like, because we were able to really, that taught us a lot in that time frame. And it also taught us a lot of how in control are we really with our life at that point.
Is this when in Georgia, is that where you started the landscaping company?
We started it in Florida.
In Florida?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, so we were living in Georgia, and my wife and I looked at each other like, hey, we need to go back to Florida. we left, and that we left. We're like, all right, what can we do in Florida that makes money? We can start cutting grass. And so like, we didn't really know why. We just felt led to Florida. So we left. And as soon as we got down there, I just started cutting grass, man. I borrowed a lawnmower and borrowed a trailer and just started cutting grass, dude. And my wife stayed in Georgia for just a short period of time because she was babysitting some kids. And yeah, dude, the rest is history, man. Here's what worked for me, right? And like, number one, changing the environment you're in, right? Like, there's an old saying, my mom used to always tell me, guilty by association. I used to tell her she was crazy. However, with that being said, dude, guilty by association can be negative or positive. What I mean by that is, you're in the bad group, you're going to be guilty by association, right? If you're in a good group of people, you're going to be, guilty of success by association.
Right.
Like you can't hang out with a group of 10 people that are doing really well for themselves and their life is together and you're just going to be shot out. Like,
that's
you
right.
can't. But really, I think setting small goals and then attaining those goals, right? Like, what is within reach? I used to set ridiculous goals and my wife is always like, stop, because they're so far out of reach. Setting little goals to build habits will get you out of the mindset. Very simply put this goal together, attain that goal. Boom, I got it. Put this together, attain that goal. Boom, I got it. And especially for the married guys, right? Like, it's important for you to set goals and achieve them because then your wife will see what's possible.
That's right, man. So a couple things that Zach just mentioned there, guys, and couldn't stress this enough and agree with more than enough of this, but environment, right? We've all heard, hey, you're going to be the median of the 5 people you surround yourself with. And the first thing what I heard him say is the environment, but also I love what you said about setting small goals because I've been a huge fan of that because it's so hard for someone who's stuck in that fixed mindset to go like, hey, I'm going to jump the ladder today, right? Let me take 5 steps up versus it's like, hey man, like one step at a time. It's okay to just take that one step today, one step the next day, right? But if you put the pressure on yourself, like, oh man, I have to accomplish all these things and you don't hit it. And it's like, dude, all of a sudden it's like, your self-confidence, your identity, your self-image, like all of that stuff kind of drops and goes away versus I think to your point, if you start doing the small goals, that's going to show you like, oh man, this is possible, which is going to start making you believe, giving you belief and giving you the confidence that you need to start going after those bigger goals. You mentioned you were a recovering addict and that one day, you want to drive and build a portfolio of sober living homes. How has your maybe personal journey influenced? And we've had a few, kind of recovering addicts on the podcast before, and they certainly help bring a lot of insight and wisdom to a lot of individuals that might be out there struggling right now. How do you feel like your personal journeys maybe influenced that kind of your career and also your mission of what you want to do there?
Yeah, so I come from a long line of addicts, dad, brother, uncle, grandpa,
wow,
long line. And it's just a long line. So there were times, again, it's when you're younger, right? Guilty by association, you fall in the trap. But I'd say the best way that it's really kind of influenced my journey is number one, your best position to help the person you once were. I'm a huge fan of that. I can't remember who speaks about it. There's a podcast I listen to, but always saying that or always being in that mindset, but really also understanding how truly grateful we should be for the life we have. And that's really what's helped influence my journey. Because I look back to, 10, 11, 12, 13 years ago, I'm like, dude, I shouldn't even be alive. And so I know I'm on borrowed time and also going the direction of I know back when I started my journey, the hardest thing for me was I couldn't find somebody else that had gone through what I went through to help me. And so I went to this inpatient treatment center and I'd sit across from the desk and they're like, oh, here's a textbook. Here's a text. Dude, this is nothing for me. I'm in this treatment facility for however long, 28 days, 29 days. So I'm away from the world, but it's not I'm away from the world. What do you want me to do? And so I think there's a huge need for people that were used to be in those shoes are stepping up to the plate. Like, hey, I once was you. This is what helped me. And really what helped me was like I just had to come to a point where like I had to come to a point where I no longer wanted to live the way I was living. And that was I just had to like I had to want help for myself before anything could be changed.
Started with a decision.
Yeah, it was my wife. She's like, she literally, we were living in Texas, and she had left. She left with the kids to go for a walk, and then she came back, and I was like, "Where have you been?" And she's like, "If you don't get it together, I'm leaving. I'm going to Florida." And so like, you know, that's where it was like man, I need to get my act together, but also trying to discover like, mind you, my wife and I have been best friends since ninth grade, right? Like, and so her and I went through a lot through high school too, like watch each other grow and change. But like, it came to just a point of like, I wasn't there the way I should have been. And so for me internally, I was like, but this is why I was like that. I was focusing so heavily on the person I did not want to become, which was a family lineage. I did not want to become them. I became them because I focused on what I didn't want versus what is it that I want. But I just had to in the moment be like, all right, enough is enough. Get your act together. You're old enough. And who do you really want to be?
Can you share a time where maybe your drive like really pushed you to achieve something that you thought was impossible?
Yeah, part of it goes back to when I purchased the car. Because yeah, motivation is great. That's a society we live in. I get it, but motivation will die out. I promise you, motivation will die out. And so like, I very firmly believe you have to have drive within, but like, number one is like when we got the car, I'm pushing. And the only reason I did that was to prove a point to myself. It was to nobody else, because the motivation will die out. But if I have this determined drive to do this one thing and I focus my energy on that one thing, you can accomplish it much sooner than you expect. And also, like, when we started the company, like, why did we do it? It was the drive that made us, right? We're like, okay, we just want to make $5,000 a month and we'll be comfortable. And then it's like, boom, done. What if we did 10 grand?
Right.
And so we were constant, again, it's like, my wife and I made the pact when we moved to Florida, we will never go back in the same position financially that we used to be. It doesn't matter what happens. And I think part of that fear drives us also to never go back. Cause it's nice. You want to take a trip, let's go. Right. And it's not all about that, but it's a comforting feeling.
That freedom is nice.
Yeah. And you just have and everybody's free, like time freedom is different for everybody, but that's really what drives me is like, I want to be able to just like, if I just want to go, I just want to go. Or if I want to take a day or two off, I just want to relax with the family. And then just focusing on who I really want to be.
I've also been at the spot where I haven't had the family, I haven't had a wife, or I haven't had a child, and I haven't quite thought like that, you know? And it's like, that's where I'm like trying to go back and see if there's someone out there that's more in that bucket, that's not quite, you know, family man, let's just say yet, or, you know, there, like, it's a lot harder, I feel like, maybe for that individual, but that's more so I was also trying to figure out if there's anything we can share for that. But I think you covered a couple of different things.
Yeah. Maybe they have a desire to have a family. Okay, let's drive that direction. Or
that's a great point.
Maybe it's something so simple. I want to take my mom to a Michelin star restaurant. Because here's the thing, it doesn't matter how small it is. It's just the fact of doing it.
That's right.
You could literally, again, and this goes back to prove to yourself, I won't touch my phone for 1 hour after I wake up. Find whatever it is internally to make you not do that. And then just do it for something positive, right? And so I think even for the guys that don't have a family, how do they get drive? It's like, everybody has one thing they've always wanted to do. Like, we haven't done everything we want to. Find that one thing. And it's got to be small. It doesn't have to be small. Make it reasonable and just make it happen.
There you go.
And then you just check it off the list and just keep adding to the list. That's all right. And you drive to the next point. It's like navigation system.
There you go. You guys just got a roadmap. If you need to go back, I'd suggest going back a few minutes and re-listening to that segment right there. That's powerful stuff, dude. I didn't have any of this advice freaking growing up. There was no Instagram. There was no Facebook. There was no gurus. There was no mentors. I had to figure shit out on my own, you know? And it's just like, I didn't have any of this. So it was just like, it was a little bit more difficult. All I had was one uncle that was super successful. And it made me believe, like, if he can do it, he's my mom's brother, I can freaking do it. I'm come from that same cloth. He built a business. I feel like I could do something big, you know? And it gave me that belief, right? But not everyone might have that uncle figure or somebody in their life that can inspire them that way or show them the way. So that's really tangible advice to anyone out there.
Find that person.
Find that person, man. Find that person. What was it like scaling a business with your high school sweetheart? Any fun or challenging stories you might want to share there?
Yeah, it was a lot of fun, man. We learned very quickly. She's very good at operations. She's very I like to say she's the business minded one. I'm too soft of a guy, man. And it puts us in a bad spot. She is. Here's the thing, because remember, I lived with her. We worked with each other. We ran a business together. We saw each other all day, every day. And so what I learned was just like, part of it was like, stay in your lane for this or for that. And also, especially for all the entrepreneurs out there, like one thing I learned was like my conversations with her. She told me years ago, she looked at me, she said, I don't need the business side of you. I need the husband side of you. And so like, because all my conversations, I love business. And so all my conversations were business sided. And so she's like, I don't need the business side of you. I just need the husband side of you. But I mean, yeah, challenges, dude. It's like, it goes back to, you have to be on the same page. And thankfully we just so happened to have an unpaid mentor not long after we started our company that took us under his wing.
Wow.
And like, I still am in communication with him today. I'm forever grateful for him. But for husband and wife entrepreneurs, find another husband and wife entrepreneur team to model after, and just don't get frustrated with each other. That's the biggest thing. Don't get like, you're going to disagree. You will disagree, but don't get frustrated. Like, what's it matter? Like, just move on. But yeah, we had stuff like coming to deal with clients, right? Or, hey, I want to do it this way. I want to do it that way. Who's better at it? And it's just like, as long as it gets done,
Let's get it done.
Yeah, I don't even care. Like, people would literally, they would come. We had guys that would work with us, right? Work for us. And like, she ran the operation side, dude. I just did what I was told. Like, I helped out in the business, of course, but more importantly, I did what I was told because she tracked what was going on. We'd have guys, like, she'd say, hey, I need you to do X, Y, Z. And then they'd come to me like, hey, what am I supposed to do? I don't know. And her and I had to be on the same page with that, right? Because I had to support her. Because had I told them what to do, they would just run all over her. So I had to support her and saying, I don't know, go talk to her. Even if I knew it didn't matter.
Right.
Because again, my wife and I are a team. We have to support each other. So yeah, just be supportive. Don't get frustrated, and maybe get angry, but get over it quick.
Yeah, and get it done, right?
Yeah.
I think one of my favorite quotes is intention is greater than method. So it's like,
yeah.
Another one of my mentors, he used to have a Vietnamese proverb he came up with, fuck how, with PHUCK, like fuck how. So like, the method doesn't matter, dude. Just get it done. It was like his whole point. So that being said, one more thing I would love to get into, and I'd love to kind of dive into some fun questions. But, I think we talked about environment earlier, right? You mentioned the need to pushing certain people out of your lives because maybe they're draining. How do you identify those relationships, and what advice would you maybe give to someone who's in that situation that maybe just feels like, dude, like this is my cousin or family or a really close friend. We grew up together, high school buddy, but that person's not serving you, in your desires and your vision and your goals today, and is not in alignment with that. Like, what would you tell that person?
I would say it's hard to say no. It's hard to step away from it. But the thing about it is, it only takes one person to change your perspective. So you have to find the one person, and then you have to be okay. Like, for the longest, I wouldn't cut people off. Dude, I have the same phone number since I was 12 years old.
Yeah.
I've never changed my number because part of me, and now that I'm speaking this out loud again, like part of me does not want to let go of that past. And I know I need to. Like I already have another number. Like I have a different phone, but I use the old number. So part of me doesn't want to let go. It's very difficult to let go. But what's more important? Right? Like you see the same thing with the same people, and it's impossible. It's just like a turtle in a turtle enclosure. They can only grow as big as their turtle enclosure will allow them. And so we look at the same way. Like if you're stuck there, you can only grow so big. But find one or two people that are doing better than you, and don't become a bother to them. Just serve them in a way, bring value to them somehow. Find a way to bring value to them, and then that one person will change your perspective, and then it'll make it okay for you to cut people out, even if you're doing 1 for 1. Just get one good person, cut one out. Get one, cut one out. But you have to change your surroundings in order to do that. I don't care if it's moving from Alaska to Florida, dude. Get away from it.
Good stuff. That's good stuff. Any final thoughts of anything that I haven't brought up or that maybe we haven't talked about that you feel like, hey, you'd want to kind of share with the listener out there today?
No, other than just like the top 3 things, man. It's like, number 1, find out why you wake up every day. That's your drive. Number 1, focus on drive. Number 2, have the hard conversations and make the hard decisions. Those are 2 in 1. And really just be humble, dude. Be humble. And all that stuff will shut off on calls, especially on calls, and people will pick that up.
So from the moment I met you, I'm like, okay, he seems like a super humble dude. That was my kind of first impression.
Yeah.
And Rich always gives up that vibe too. And he's never changed since the day I met him. I knew Rich before, like he had money and he was addicted to video games, and like he didn't have any of this today. And so it's like he's always been that same person. Yeah,
and being humble is important. Being humble is really important. One thing you can do with your kids to help them be humble is go feed the homeless, stuff like that. And they'll remember that, and they'll know how grateful they really are. But
talk about perspective.
Yeah, you talk like we have a team. We have a team. I think it's 28 VAs in the Philippines now. I think it's 28, 29. Anyways, like we'll run like. We'll do spiffs for them or whatever, like, bonuses. And so we're like, hey, if you hit this metric this week, it's $25 US bonus. Oh my goodness, they're so happy. Yeah, they're so happy, right? We have like the one VA that's directly under my wife. That's all he does is do what she needs him to do, and like take great care of him. Recently made some adjustments with his pay, and the dude's like forever grateful. And so like puts it in a perspective. Like when you're like, hey, here's a $25 bonus if you hit this metric. Oh, they are, dude, they're all over the place. Could you imagine you give that to like somebody here? Like, here's $25 if you do this.
Barely buy some lunch.
Correct. It brings it back.
That exchange rate, bro, is intense over there, Which I was leading to, is that maybe part of the reason why you guys are planning to go to the Philippines at all? Is it related to your business?
Yes. Yeah. We're having, we're having a meeting out there. The company that we're helping scale right now, that's where pretty much all the VAs are at. And yeah, so we're going to go out there and do some, we have a really strong team, We did, like, there was, I was joking around the other day, and all of them are like, hey, we want to be here forever. And I was joking around with them, and I said, because remember, this is for a company we're helping scale, right? Not mine specifically, but I told them, I said, hey, we just brought on a bunch more people because we're going to see who's best, and we're just going to cut the team in half. And so like they laughed, and some of them got nervous. One of them left. They were like, but interesting. Yeah, it was interesting. Of course, my wife wasn't happy I said that. But anyways, like it goes back to like I speak with them regularly. And I think that's also partially what keeps me humble, because I'm like, these people are living over there, and we give them $25 or $50 bonus, and they're like ecstatic about it, right? $25 to $50 to us, like you can't even take your wife and kid out to dinner.
Maybe lunch, maybe.
These
days. Fast food here in California, I don't know if you've gone out anywhere yet, dude, but it's $15 to $20 for like just a basic meal. One person.
I got McDonald's on my way here this morning. It's like $12.
Yeah.
And I don't even eat that much. So yeah, $25, $50 to us, dude, it's gone in a flash, dude.
That's crazy.
In a flash.
For those of you guys that don't know, you guys heard like Zach's entire story. You guys heard all the ups and downs, guys, like all the different opportunities he had. And what he's able to accomplish now, he's actually started his own sales agency. So that's what he's talking about now. And he's been able to scale that relatively in the last few months, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah. $500,000 for the, $500,000.
$500,000, guys. That's no joke, man. That's no joke.
Yeah. It's a lot of fun, dude. It's so much fun. It is so much fun. And, again, it goes back to you're in total control, right? Like that's one thing I didn't like about when I first got into sales. I was told I'm in total control of how much I make, but you're not until you're actually in control. And so like, that's one thing that I'm grateful for is I know now, like if I want to make more money, I just make more money. You know, and I'm not saying like you turn on a water spigot and money just pours out, but you make the right moves, you can make more money. And it's all about providing value. And that's going to dictate your pay.
Bam! Let's end it right there, man. I think that's a good way to end it. So appreciate you jumping on. Let me just let you guys know. Guys, if you're interested to coach with us, if you're interested to get one-on-one coaching, click the link in the description below, the first one. And if you're interested, guys, to join our school community where Zach found us, make sure you click that second link in the description below and you'll get free access to 5 days a week live coaching, plus a curriculum, plus all of our past recorded coaching calls. You're going to get a framework. You're going to have all the tools that you need, guys, to be successful in this space. And if you're looking to get coached by us one-on-one and start making some money and get placement within our sales agency, make sure you click that first link in the description, guys, and schedule a call. You'll probably chat with me or somebody else on the team about it. But that being said, Zach, it's been awesome, man. Thank you so much for coming down. And I know the trip wasn't like we're not right around the corner from you. So I really appreciate it, dude. I've had a blast. It's been awesome.
Likewise, man. Likewise. And it really, everybody take advantage of the school community. And I don't say that. Like I mean that intentionally because there's so much value in there. There's a ton of value in the school community with all the classes and stuff.
There you have it. Let's do it again.
So, you got it, man.
Awesome.
Appreciate you.
See you guys.